everyone, and welcome back to another video. So, it's a new major patch, which means we are getting a new tier of gear, and as has been the tradition on this channel since its inception, we'll be taking a look at that gear and just, shooting the shit, seeing what we think about it. First of all, I've got to say, I am super impressed, and we do actually see a bit of a callback to Tier 6, which makes a good deal of sense because that's the last time we were gallivanting around the place with Illidan. Now, today I am going to be using the MMO Champion model viewer. In the last video that I did with the model viewer, that did involve Wowhead, so there's a little bit of balance for you. Okay, let's get right into the video. And we're going to start off with the plate classes first. Yeah, look at this warrior gear. Now this, when I first got into the game, this was one of the really iconic sets of gear. I remember trying to farm some PvP for the stuff that looked like this, and just seeing it again in Legion, looking at these spell effects that are going off from all of the different, little, sort of spaces in the armor. That is, what a piece of work. Blizzard people, once again in the art department, just absolutely outdo themselves. I mean, in fairness, of course they're going to outdo the work that they did many years ago, but, yeah, hey, certainly credit where it's due. This is some really cool stuff. And in saying that, it's not like I'm even, trying to say that, the last tier was bad. I actually love Tier 19, and it's just cool to see Tier 20 also being really extremely cool indeed. And there's the final normal look, but I think we need to take a bit of a look at the Mythic set for the Warriors. Yeah, holy hell, look at this thing. It's right. What I love about the Mythic one is it's taking the idea of the old bit of gear and then kind of reimagining it. I love this so much. It's weird, for most of the sets here, I would almost want to roll that class so I could get the damn set. But okay, with Warriors done, let's take a look at the Paladins. It does look like there might be something kind of missing around here. I don't particularly like this recolor though, so that's kind of unfortunate. But if we do get onto the more traditional ones, we can see it's pretty cool looking. Once again, maybe something missing in the chest department, but we really do see that it benefits just from the higher quality that Blizzard can do with their armor sets these days. We've got this red version, which I'm assuming is the one that will be coming for PvP perhaps, and then a green one. Really, we actually do see for each one of these sets, there's quite a lot of different color variations for them, which is certainly quite cool to see indeed. And here's this one, and then finally, we move on to the most golden kind of looking one of them all. I think, is this the Mythic one? I think it might be the Mythic one, but overall, yeah, Paladins looking awesome, Warriors also looking awesome. Which of course means that it's Death Knight time now. I'm actually, as much as I do love this stuff overall, not really the biggest fan of the Death Knight one. I just don't particularly think the silhouette's that great. However, I do think there are lots of individual bits of gear here that could be really cool with transmog sets. Like looking at that helm, that could be pretty nice. And we do see a trend that I love with Legion is we have these really big, nice sort of gloves and just more 3D geometry to the bits of gear that we're actually getting in-game. And then finally, we just have to round it off with the green and purple ones. I do love the little bits of detailing here in the armor texture. Gives it a lot more, well, I guess detail, makes it look weathered, which is always quite nice for me. And then finally, we've got the purple one, which, once again, looking kind of cool. I think a little bit weaker, unfortunately, for the Death Knights. But hey, still overall, I think nice enough, and you could see some good transmog use. So let's move on to the Hunters. Of course, that's my main spec. This was always a pretty wacky looking bit of gear. It wasn't really one of my favorite ones, however, I think that their reimagining and modernizing of it is pretty cool. You could absolutely make a really nice old god themed one from this, which is an idea that I particularly do like the sound of. It's just cool, we've got these eyes and stuff going around the place, and I imagine as well this is the Mythic version here, but one of the things that I think was kind of iconic about the old gear is it was a bit more out there, it was a bit more crazy. They took sort of more ballsy decisions with the color palette, so I think it's actually pretty good that we're seeing some similar things being done with Tier 19 and Tier 20, just to help, stuff kind of be a little bit more out there and differentiated. This one especially nice with the contrast between the teal and the red. Very nice indeed. And then we'll just finish it off with quickly going through our last two color variations of the gear. Overall though, yeah, thumbs up for the Hunters. I think it's a very good reimagining of the base set. Then next we got the Shamans, and yeah, I think this one's pretty awesome indeed. I actually like this, I like this original set too. Yeah, just some lovely spell effects, nice dynamic looking, strong color palettes. I especially like it when we move towards these reds with the blues. This red one's especially nice because I think some of the tones in the lower half of the other ones weren't as interesting, but this one really is nice, vibrant, and kind of saturated with its colors. And then we'll just round it off with the last two versions. So we got that purple one, and then we've got this pretty nice sort of white-looking one. Alright, so here's the Demon Hunter. Of course, we can't really put the tattoos on at the minute, which is kind of unfortunate, but with the tattoos, I think this would look absolutely badass. Again, you know, awesome looking belts and stuff like that for the Demon Hunters, as we've seen with the bits of gear they have currently. This red version's particularly nice if you're a Horde character, really fits the Blood Elf theme as well, so I think, yeah, it's more Blood Elf themed than it is Demon Hunter themed, which is a nice little bit of variation for people. And overall with the Demon Hunters, the one thing I do like is, again, there's nice saturated colors. We're not really getting bored with these, like, you know, really desaturated, boring looking color palettes. They're actually kind of going vibrant with the gear. And I suppose that was a bit of a criticism for a time with the Warcraft gear, is that it did get a little bit less interesting overall, but like it does certainly seem with this tier that they're trying to bring back a lot of the nostalgic looking bits of gear. And of course this is the mythic version, so you got different kinds of horns coming out. And I suppose, yeah, I mean, when I say nostalgic, like they are literally remaking tier 6, so that's a pretty obvious nostalgia thing. Next, let's take a quick look at the rogues. Of course, I just started a rogue, so I'm doubly as interested. I think rogues have had amazing looking gear for the last while. Once again, I think this is a really cool set, and I like how it's visually different from the last two, because I think the last two tiers for rogues are actually rather similar. It's kind of cool how it looks like there's like liquid in the shoulders. You got the little almost, yeah, like sort of head thing going on, eyes all over the place, and that head as well. That's very, very unique looking, so I think you'll be able to make some pretty badass looking transmogs, and we're just going through some more of the variations here. Overall though, yeah, very happy to be a rogue currently. That said, one of my favorite rogue sets in the last while has just been the crafted leather gear from Legion. I think that stuff's really cool looking. And then here's the final rogue set. Once again, just overall, I think awesome, really strong entry to the game. And yeah, just continuing this really happy trend that I have when I'm making this video. Right, let's take a look at the monk. So the first thing that pops into my head is that hunter set with the wolf, just that it's like a metal wolf. You know, like well, it's more of a tiger head, but yeah, it reminds me of that one hunter set. So I think this is really cool in that it's being a bit wacky. It's being a bit out there, just like how bits of armor used to be back in the day. It's got, you know, strong contrasting colors, some pretty nice spell effects as well, and there's quite a few different color variations, which, you know, means there should be something that you like the look of. At the very least, what I will say about this is you have one of the coolest headpieces for monks, I think, in this set. You've got a really cool shoulder, you've got really cool hands, so even just as far as what this adds to the transmog game, I think we're seeing absolutely great benefits. And then here's the green variant of it, once again, looking at pretty damn awesome indeed. Another red one. This gold one, like gold and purple, not what I thought would have exactly went together well initially, but you know what, I actually do think it works. And I really should view these on a panda, and I mean, the male panda belly does make it a bit odd, so let's go look at the female panda, which I think generally looks a bit more badass than the male one. And overall, yeah, I think really cool looking indeed for the monks. And I say that not really having been the largest fan of some of the monk sets recently, so I think this is a nice change in pace for me. I especially like the white and gold of the helm here. I think that really is very iconic looking. Okay, so druid time. Now, what I do like is that these shoulders are the ones that I use in one of my druids at the minute for the transmog, so at the very least, I'll get something out of that. As for the rest of the set, though, I was never the biggest fan of this one. I know that might be controversial. I do like some things, so let's look at this helm. I think that's really cool. Not to my style particularly, but I think for a lot of players that will be quite enjoyable. I think it's only fair we do this one on a Tauren as well. So overall, you know, it's just a little bit more desaturated for me. Just not as interesting a color palette, though it does look quite in theme for the druid. So really, it's a case of pros and cons. I think this is a cooler one, and in general, you'll see with me, you know, the more colorful it's looking, the more I'm okay with it, as much as it might sometimes verge on something kind of being MMO clown gear. And yeah, let's just get the last few variations of this out of the way before we move on to the next class. I actually particularly like this one, nice and rich looking. And then finally the red one, which once again is, you know, pretty cool, but it seems like there's a little bit of mismatch here. But again, it's early days, which means that it's time for the clothies, and I've been excited about this one because holy shit, look at this, like, I don't think a set has screamed Warlock this much in a while, though I think Warlocks generally do get some really, really cool sets indeed. Some really nice colors. I absolutely love the purple. I'll just swap this onto a human. I actually think it looks a little bit better on the undeads, but yeah, I think human's a bit more neutral looking, I suppose. And then here's the red one. Maybe this will be a PvP variant. Once again, though, awesome. I love how the lighting is kind of working in this guy too. And we've got another slightly different variant of it in the red color. which is, once again, looking pretty damn cool. Some more kind of out there greens. This would maybe remind me of something that's kind of more undead-ish, kind of necromancery themed. And then another purple one, which the kind of glowing bits really are kind of exaggerated in this. I mean, look at your eyes, there's just this stuff spilling out of them. And then finally we've got this version. What I'd love to see is if this would actually affect the rest of the ground. I think that would be really cool if it did. Now then, priest gear. This is another one I was very excited to show you because of the really cool looking shoulders from back then, and this just looks incredible. I absolutely love how they've taken this one, made it a little bit new, but also just really kept those strong elements. I think that shoulder's just really creepy looking, which is great for the priest character. Sometimes it can be a bit boring when they're nothing but just, you know, shiny gold stuff, so it's pretty nice seeing something a bit more dark looking. So yeah, go me for liking the edgy looking priests, I suppose. I also really love that Kata priest one, which I think kind of looks all like discipline-like. And here's what I assume is the mythic one. Just holy shit! Like the things, the chains have broken on. Yeah, they've broken on the shoulders. You've got this thing going mad. Holy crap! Like, what a cool looking bit of gear. Even if you wanted to just take the top half and scrap the bottom, just awesome looking indeed. And then we do have another color variant of that, which once again, very impressive indeed. I'm so happy going through these sets. They really are so cool. And then, my friends, it just leaves us with the mage. I always thought this is a very wacky looking bit of mage gear. So I guess, you know, it's going to be a bit like Marmite. You know, really a take it or leave it looking thing. I mean, this actually looks like something that should be the dagger for a really tall rogue. Because you could just headbutt, you know, forget your fireballs, just headbutt somebody with this thing, that'll take them down. So yeah, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of this personally, but once again, you know, there's color, right? It stands out there, feels a bit more unique, and I think for a lot of players, that's what they're really craving for with gear. And look at these shoulders, right? How it's all crackling and stuff. Like, the bits of attention to detail that they're putting into the gear now are just so impressive. And, like, personally, if I compare this to, say, Miss Pandaria, like, they've came on such a long way in so little time with how good that their gear for the different classes looks. And then finally, we've got this. So that's it, basically, for this video. And, yeah, I'm just really fucking pleased. This is really cool looking. I cannot wait to earn some of this gear and work out some new transmogs for my characters. But hey guys, that's it. Let me know what you think about this set. I'm dead keen to hear what everyone thinks, especially because it is a little bit more old school. And yeah, okay, some of these are just, they're really campy, they're really silly looking, but I think in a really, like, enjoyable, fun, cool way. So yeah, I hope that came through in the video. But anyway guys, thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think, and I will see you tomorrow.